You're watching ABC 17 KMIZ, where the news comes first.
In a news alert tonight, Mid-Missouri investigators are still searching for more answers in a Holt Summit homicide. Good evening, I'm Joey Parker.
I'm Meredith Haynes. The unidentified woman was found just today behind a gas station on Simon Boulevard near Highway 54 exit.
The cause of death is unknown at this time, but late this afternoon we learned more details about the victim.
Right now, we do know she is in her 40s or 50s, but ABC 17's Daniel Wynn has been following the story all day, and he is just now found that there is a connection to Kansas City. Daniel, what is this?
Yeah, Meredith, police are saying that this woman was wearing a long-sleeve red T-shirt and it said Covenant Towing and Recovery. That business is out of Kansas City. Let me show you where she was laying. She was laying right here. This is just kind of a grassy field behind the Exxon station here in Holt Summit on Simon Drive and Highway 54. Now, the woman was found about 11:30 this morning. Take a look at some of this video that we shot this afternoon as police were combing through this grassy field behind the Exxon station. Now, the female customer, like I said, was found about 11:30, and she's described to be about 40 or 50 years old. She has brown hair that is about shoulder length. She was also wearing some green jogging pants that said United States Marine Corps on them. Now, police spent most of the afternoon here investigating the scene, looking through all of the grass back here to find what evidence they could find. Now, Sergeant Mark Haycock with the Holt Summit Police Department tells me they don't have a lot of leads at this point, but what she is wearing, he believes, will be key to the investigation.
She was wearing olive drab, green USMC sweatpants and a red T-shirt, a red long-sleeve T-shirt that had the logo of a towing company out of the Kansas City area. The name of that towing company is Covenant Towing and Recovery.
Now, while police were on the scene here, they spent several hours. They looked through a couple of the tractor trailers around here, but they were able to locate all of the owners to those, and they apparently had no connection. They're also looking into surveillance video at the gas station. No word yet what that might bring to the investigation. Several departments involved. There are 4 in all: the Highway Patrol, Callaway County, Holt Summit, and then crime scene investigators from Jefferson City were also here on the scene. If you have any information, you're urged to call the Holt Summit Police Department, Lieutenant Brian Reed at 896-8431. Reporting live in Holt Summit, Daniel Wynn, ABC 17 News.
All right, thanks, Daniel. And of course, we'll keep you updated as well on ABC17news.com. A Mid-Missouri judge is now waiting on paperwork to decide the fate of a Cole County woman who murdered a girl, she says, for the thrill of it. In 2012, Alyssa Bustamante pleaded guilty to the 2009 killing of 9-year-old Elizabeth Olton in St. Martin's. Bustamante is now 20. She was 15 at the time of the killing. She was sentenced to life plus 30 years. Bustamante's lawyers now say she got bad legal advice, and they want her pleas to be vacated, corrected, or set aside. Her entire case surrounds what was described as a lack of information by her former attorneys and a U.S. Supreme Court case regarding sentences for juveniles. Bustamante says her lawyers never told her about that case. She says if she knew about it, she would never have accepted a plea agreement from the prosecutor. But the prosecutor says she knew all of her options, and she took the deal willingly.
I was under the impression that that was the very best that I could hope to get.
You knew and understood those things at the time that you accepted the plea agreement.
Yes.
Lawyers now have 30 days to submit paperwork. If the judge does rule in favor of Bustamante, she wouldn't go free. It would be sent, or it would send the case back to a pre-agreement setting.
Some drivers could face freezing rain for tomorrow's commute.
And snow is also heading towards mid-Missouri. Let's go to ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Sharon Ray, who has the details in our first full complete forecast. Sharon?
That's right. You know, this is another one of those storms that isn't going to be very strong. It's going to produce just minor amounts of precipitation, but just enough to where we could have some problems on the roads. Now, tonight through tomorrow morning, it's going to be mainly dry. It's toward the morning hours. We'll start to see a little bit of light snow moving in, mixing with some freezing drizzle. That's mainly going to be along and north of Interstate 70. But as we go through the the day tomorrow, that will be increasing. We'll start to see the possibility of a wintry mix of freezing rain and sleet and snow. It looks like the better chance of snow from tomorrow afternoon through Saturday is going to be north of Interstate 70. Elsewhere, especially south of Interstate 70, we're looking at some freezing rain and sleet, and that'll cause some ice to accumulate on roadways. Now, another system comes in later next week. In fact, Monday night into Tuesday, there's a stronger system that could bring snow to the area, and that looks like it could be several inches. So that's what we're watching right now. A minor storm here. This one could end up bringing higher amounts of snow to the area, so something to watch over the next few days. There's nothing on Storm Track Doppler right now. It is quiet, and it's still mild outside. We have temperatures starting our evening in the 40s. There is, however, a cold front coming in, and as that cold front moves in from the north, temperatures are going to be dropping this evening, so do expect colder air to arrive by morning. We'll be down below freezing for all of mid-Missouri, and with a little bit of snow or freezing drizzle. And again, the better chance of that's north. There could be a glazing on roadways tomorrow morning. Right now, the colder air is just to the north of us, and that's where our cold front is. Any precip with that has moved off to the east, but what I'm watching is just to the west here. You see this? This is a narrow band of snow that's going to work its way into our northern counties here late tonight and early in the morning tomorrow, and with that will be the start of our wintry weather. I am going to track it for you. I'll take my time on that in my next weather, hour by hour with Future Track. Plus, I'll show you how much snow and ice you can expect in your hometown. Stay tuned for that in 10 minutes. In the meantime, here is a look at the next 7 days. It's cold this weekend. The better chance of precipitation's early Saturday. That ends dry Sunday. Monday night, Tuesday, snow moves in again. This could be a wintry mix changing to snow by Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Sharon. We do have a traffic alert for you tonight. Right now, delays are expected in the east portion of Columbia.
In just the last hour, we've learned emergency workers were called out to the connector near Highway 63 and I-70 for an injury accident. Now, you can see in the corner of the screen, this is a live look at the MoDOT traffic camera. We'll be bringing you more details as we get them in. New tonight at 6, a popular antique and furniture store in Columbia could be closing depending how a city board votes. The Marketplace is on the west end of the business loop. It's been home to some 150 local vendors for 12 years, but could close if the Marketplace owner decides to let a plumbing business move in. ABC 17's Dana Clemens has been talking to the vendors today who won't get a say in this move. She's joining us live from the store. And Dana, the vendors aren't too happy about the pending closure, huh?
Joey, the vendors are very upset, to say the least. Many have had a booth here at the Marketplace selling antiques and home decor for 12 years, and now they're forced to find someplace else. Right now, the Marketplace owner, Ron Sturkey, is waiting to hear from Columbia's Board of Adjustment. He's filed for a conditional use permit, which would allow Ferguson Plumbing Supply to use his building. The board is scheduled to vote on the matter on February 11th, giving current vendors just weeks to plan. But if the permit is denied, the plumbing business will have to find somewhere else, and the Marketplace will stay. Moving isn't the only concern of some of these vendors. I talked to one who says she's worried about the construction trucks the company will use, using the area roads and damaging them, costing the city extra money. But Sturkey tells me that a big business like the plumbing supply will provide lots of good things for Columbia. Hear what he has to say at 9 and 10. Reporting live in Columbia, Dana Clemens, ABC 17 News.
Thank you for that, Dana. We did reach out to both the City of Columbia and Ferguson Plumbing and Supply. We didn't hear back from either of them. And while one mid-Missouri business is possibly closing, another is adding jobs. ABB announced today it plans to bring more employees to its facility in Jefferson City.
Now, it's unclear how many jobs will actually be coming. ABB is able to add 78 workers, but it will spread them between facilities in also St. Louis and Jefferson City. The company is not telling us the exact breakdown. Now, ABB is partnering with Grain Belt Express Clean Line. This is a 750-mile electrical line that will bring wind energy from western Kansas to Missouri and several other states.
ABC 17's Ashley Strohmeyer was on hand for the announcement and has this report.
Constructing a 750-mile electrical transmission line is a big infrastructure job. The company touts it as clean energy. Grain Belt looked for local manufacturers in the states that supported the movement.
In the future, as this project commences, to opening up future opportunities for more wind farm development in the state of Kansas, and that's where the product coming out of the Jefferson City factory directly correlates into this project.
ABB is the world's top provider in power grade equipment with more than 70% of North America's highest voltage transformers made in the facility. The clean line will also help drive economic success to Missouri.
Under this strategic initiative, the state is dedicated to seek energy solutions that will increase access to low-cost, sustainable energy sources and making business in Missouri more affordable.
And the job expansion may not be over. Officials say when the Grain Belt Express Line project is finished, it could create up to 800 jobs. Reporting live in the Jefferson City newsroom, Ashley Strohmeyer, ABC 17 News.
All right, thanks, Ashley. Now, officials say the Grain Belt Clean Line project could also generate up to $10 million in revenue in Missouri. Well, just in the last hour and a half, we have confirmed a boil advisory has been lifted for some people in northeast of Columbia. The advisory is for Audrain County. It was issued over the weekend for public water supply number 2 residents. Now, most of those residents affected live south of Highway 22. A few are north of Route E. All are west of Highway 54. Crews found and repaired that leak earlier this week. Officials say a frozen pipe burst in a remote area, which caused that delay.
This is the last section of the Hurricane Deck Bridge at the Lake of the Ozarks. It's being destroyed. Today, crews blew up the 3rd section, shutting down traffic on Route 5 for the explosion. Look at it there. Workers will spend the next several weeks salvaging the scrap metal out of the water. The first structure was built in 1936. The road sees around 10,000 vehicles every day, according to MoDOT. An outside fire turned out to only be a small one this afternoon east of Columbia, but it is a concern for firefighters because of strong winds and dry conditions. It took less than an hour to get the blaze under control near Cedar Grove off Broadway by Old Hawthorne. Neighbors called emergency crews after seeing smoke in the woods.
Tonight, a 1-foot baby ball python remains on the loose inside a dorm at the University of Missouri. Today, we discovered it escaped last week on the 3rd floor at Defoe Hall near the Student Rec Center. A few students tell us they might even kill the non-venomous snake if they get their hands on it.
I have an albino boa constrictor, and he's really, really nice. He's pretty docile. I don't know exactly how pythons are, but I wouldn't necessarily kill it because it's someone's pet and it's probably just as scared as they are.
We have also confirmed with officials the ball python is a registered and allowed pet on campus.
Coming up, Missouri has now executed its 3rd inmate in just 3 months. We'll explain why last minutes failed for Herbert Smalls coming up.
And sput out maybe 3 times, sitting in traffic for 16 hours. Having no food, having nothing to drink, having no toilet, having a dead phone.
Find out why Georgia's governor is now apologizing for not preparing enough.
This segment of ABC 17 News is sponsored by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
Buick, Chevy, GMC, Cadillac. We put a winning team on the field every day. Rick Ball Auto Mall, Boonville.
Tonight, in an ABC 17 News special report, mold, and more mold. From the Missouri State Fan to Mizzou, we're pulling records from around the area and asking just how bad is it? The dangers of mold in a special report tonight at 9 on Fox 22, KQFX, and at 10 on KMIZ.
Missouri has now executed its 3rd convict in just 3 months.
The final appeal for Herbert Smalls was denied late yesterday. He was pronounced dead just before 10:30 last night after a 9-minute process. Smalls was found guilty of murdering a St. Louis jewelry store owner in 1991. His lawyers argued it's unfair to kill inmates without knowing the source of the state's new lethal injection drugs.
University of Missouri system leaders continue to meet tonight in Columbia. We already told you they voted yesterday to hire an independent investigator after the suicide of an MU swimmer. The next step is choosing a counsel for the Sasha Manouchori case, who claimed she was raped before taking her own life in 2011. Once a firm is appointed, they have until April 11th to present their findings to the Board of Curators. Columbia police have already started a criminal investigation.
A former Missouri clerk is getting 2 years of probation after losing military records for hundreds of veterans. Today, he pleaded guilty to misfiling nearly 75% of his 1,200 cases. He worked at a center in St. Louis where employees got extra pay based on how much work they completed, regardless of the accuracy. Managers say the practice is called stashing.
To give you an idea of just how bad congestion was in Atlanta because of the snow, we have a video that is time-lapsed. It took one commuter more than an hour to go just half a mile. Today, Georgia's governor said the traffic tie-ups this week are his fault. Schools and businesses let everyone leave at the same time, and the results were disastrous. Some students spent the night on a bus, and conditions were far from ideal.
Spread out maybe 3 times, sitting in traffic for 16 hours, having no food, having nothing to drink, having no toilet, having a dead phone.
Well, we have some winter weather headed our way. It's not a lot, but there is going to be some accumulating snow and ice. I'll show you how much, and I've got the latest timing on that coming up next. Stay tuned. It turned out to be a mild day after a chilly start with those winds this morning, but we're still at 41 right now in Sedalia, 45 at the Lake of the Ozarks. Those temperatures rather mild all across mid-Missouri right now, 41 degrees in Columbia, and it's dry. No precipitation is expected until closer to morning. We might start to see a little snow and freezing drizzle move in. 46 in Jefferson City right now. Tonight's lows dropping down to the low to mid-20s. It'll be cold and below freezing by morning. We'll also see that chance of light snow north by the early morning. Tomorrow, high temperatures with a wintry mix that'll be increasing as we head into the late afternoon and evening. Highs tomorrow stay in the upper 20s and low 30s. It's going to be much colder tomorrow, and most of the day at the lake you're still going to be below freezing. That 34 is only for a short time, so that is going to lead the way for this mix of freezing rain and sleet and snow to stick as we are going to have those freezing temperatures. Here's the cold air, and you can see that's getting close now. That's our cold front that's going to be moving in, and we will be in this much colder air from tomorrow all the way into early next week. In fact, we don't warm up much. We stay rarely cold all the way through the end of next week. In the meantime, while we have that colder air sliding in from the north, there's that frontal boundary. We've also got these waves in the upper atmosphere. The first one right here is going to produce a thin band of precipitation, of mainly snow, that pulls in late tonight, and then behind that to follow is our next area of low pressure that pulls to the south of us tomorrow night. Between the two of them, we'll get some of that wintry mix. Here is a look at the timing on this. Tonight, you can see it's dry. Tomorrow morning, we start to see, this is 6 o'clock in the morning, a little snow develops. Some very light snow possible, especially along and north of Interstate 70, with some freezing drizzle mixing in with below freezing temperatures. So the glazing of ice can't be ruled out early in the day tomorrow, but the better chance of ice comes tomorrow late afternoon and evening. We'll see that precipitation very light, picking up a little bit. Not going to be heavy, but enough to where we could see some accumulating sleet or freezing rain at the Lake of the Ozarks, snow and sleet possible north with some freezing drizzle mixed in. There's that line where we're going to have the mix versus the snow tomorrow night. The better chance of snow accumulation is if you live north of Interstate 70. Farther to the south, it's going to be mostly ice. All of this moves out by late Saturday. It looks like by noon Saturday, most of the precipitation will be done. 1 inch of snow close to Interstate 70 is possible, but as you go north, it increases to 3 to 4 inches. To the south, very little to no snow accumulation, but in this area is where we're more concerned about 1/10 of an inch, possibly up to 1/1500ths of an inch of ice, and a glazing farther to the north, which could cause problems on roads. And that's, again, from tomorrow in the morning. A little bit of ice is possible, but most of it comes tomorrow evening and overnight through early Saturday morning. Temperatures are cold this weekend. It's drier Sunday. Snow moves in again next Tuesday. In Jefferson City, only 31 tomorrow, 29 Saturday, and another cold weekend here with only 27 at the lake Sunday. And again, the Lake of the Ozarks, you're looking at some ice accumulation. So tomorrow night travel could be quite tricky.
And even just that little tiny bit could make a big difference.
It does, yeah.
Thanks. All right, thanks, Sharon. Okay. We have new information in the Dorial Green Beckham arrest after Greene County released documents from the case.
And Mizzou basketball tries to make a statement against one of the nation's best teams. Sports Director Austin Kim is in next.
Welcome back. Greene County released new documents related to the Dorial Green Beckham arrest today. DGB and 2 friends were arrested January 10th after a traffic stop in Springfield. The arresting officer says they found nearly a pound of marijuana in the vehicle. DGB said the marijuana was not his. The documents also say one of Green Beckham's friends, Patrick Prouty, said he owned the marijuana. The other friend, John McDaniel, said all 3 men were smoking marijuana prior to being pulled over. No charges have been filed at this time. Now, while there's been plenty of attention around Mizzou athletics off the field, the MU men's basketball team is starting to make some noise. They could get their 3rd straight win and make some noise of their own against Kentucky on Saturday. It gives a chance for playmakers like Jabari Brown and Jordan Clarkson to go up against college basketball stars like Willie Cauley-Stein and Julius Randle. Tip-off for the game is at noon on Saturday, so plenty of big opportunity for the Missouri Tigers to really grab some national attention. You know, they had that 2-game winning streak, and boy, this would be a huge statement if they could take down the Kentucky Wildcats.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have Florida right after that, so.
Yeah, the stretch of Arkansas and then Kentucky and then Florida. It is a tough one, but they're looking pretty good so far. Let's see if they can keep it rolling.
All right.
Thanks, Austin.
Coming up after the break, a man is now in custody again tonight after trying to outrun authorities in Marys County for a 2nd time this month. We'll tell you how Jeffrey Eaton was captured today in just a few minutes on ABC 17 News at 6:30. Stay tuned.